Whew, okay. I don't know a better person. I don't know a better person.
Why is it making you cry?
Shoot, wasn't gonna cry here. Tissue, please. I now need tissue.
She helps people. I do the same thing. I just do it on the ground.
And you've been with Oprah for a long time. And I think that relationships are difficult.
Reason why is because they gathered so much evidence. Was supposedly they gathered so many videos and laptops and also electronic devices.
Friend in your head, Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah, best friend forever.
Yes,
Yeah.
her man, Stedman Graham, wrote a book called Identity Leadership.
Okay.
And in the book, he reveals some of his secrets about the 30-year relationship he's had with Oprah.
Oh, this is the funniest thing, guys. You all know Stedman is really big.
You mentioned, that you've been with Oprah for a long time now.
A long time ago, she just says this.
Here's the scoop. The buzz is real, and everyone's talking about it. Oprah Winfrey, the media mogul, and her longtime partner, Stedman Graham, are facing some serious relationship drama. For those who haven't been keeping up, this couple has kept their personal lives extremely private for decades, but now their issues are out in the open. Oprah, the billionaire who captivated us all with her shows, has had Stedman by her side for years, her loyal partner through thick and thin. But things aren't looking so rosy behind closed doors anymore. This rare and dramatic public clash between two famously private figures is just as intense as it sounds.
Okay.
And in the book, he reveals some of his secrets about the 30-year relationship he's had with Oprah.
Nice.
And in Hollywood, a 30-year relationship, that's like a lifetime.
They're not married.
Especially with someone as powerful as Oprah.
Yes.
So he goes on to say, the thing about our relationship is I want the best for her. So I'm dedicated to her happiness. So that's great for her, and I want her to be the best she can possibly be, and she's done a pretty good job of doing it.
Do you hear that, Frank? You hear that? That's how you're supposed to talk to a significant other or a spouse. You want what's best for her. You want her to be happy.
That is wonderful, Stedman, but this is so passive-aggressive because then he goes on to say this.
Oh.
For me, I've been able to find my own happiness. Like, nobody's helping him find his happiness. He's helping Oprah find all hers. He's finding his own happiness.
You're reading into that.
He goes on. For me, I've been able to find my own happiness and develop my own skills, my own talents, my own abilities, and I'm satisfied with that. So the combination, when you have a good partner that's able to self-actualize their potential and you're able to self-actualize yours, 1 and 1 equals about 6.
Oh.
The only thing you don't see there are the tears on the paper.
It sounds like Oprah's absence made him stronger.
Or maybe to make him happy, she gets home from her powerful day and looks at him and goes, "You get a BJ."
Let's break down what Stedman reportedly said. He was at a high-end event, probably thinking no one would notice, but boy, was he wrong. As he chatted with people, he started sharing his thoughts on Oprah's work habits. We all know Oprah's empire is built on her relentless hustle, but Stedman hinted that maybe she should slow down and take a breather. But it doesn't stop there. He went on to suggest that Oprah's constant drive for the next big thing might be her way of avoiding something deeper. Wait, what's he implying? Is he suggesting Oprah has hidden issues? Just when you think he's done, Stedman goes even further, questioning if the queen of self-help and living your best life is actually living hers quite so perfectly.
An issue, you got to be able to manage that process. To be able to, you can imagine if you are a brand in sports, and we know the brands, you reach people know your name all over the world.
Yeah.
You walk into a place, they give you everything. You got big contracts, all of that. If you were able to source content and information and apply your brand to building communities, to helping other people empower themselves, to helping your family, leveraging your brand awareness and your name for good, okay, and then to kind of organize a legacy while you're playing sports, kind of organize what you should be doing in the future, positioning yourself. You imagine the power of that, as opposed to walking around just playing ball and and not thinking about anything and just kind of having fun.
Right.
But it's the time to you only have a short amount of time. You don't have a lot of time. So to take those few years that you have. In some case, basketball, you might have 10 years or whatever the case may be. And there's some exceptions like Tom Brady, of course, who's has more than 10, 25 years or whatever the case may be. But the ability to be able to leverage that, and I think he's done it very well, to be able to leverage that into an existing world and make it work for you and your external clan, man, to empower other people. I think LeBron's looks like he's done a pretty good job of doing that, where he does life after basketball, and he's helping in the community. And I'm sure there's a lot of other athletes that do that.
I mean, when you put it like that, of course, it's an incredibly powerful tool. Like you said, I mean, that makes perfect sense. It seems more of like just avoiding the pitfalls of it, like you said.
Well, it's knowing how it can empower you and your ideas and where you're going and who you want to become, and not be stuck in just thinking that you're all of that,
right?
And you're not, because once you stop playing ball, really not that many people care,
right?
So you got to make it work for you, and that's what social media should be doing for everybody, is making it work for you, as opposed to, again,
You're probably wondering, why would Stedman, Oprah's longtime supporter, suddenly air their private issues? Some believe there might be hidden trouble in their relationship, while others think he feels overlooked as Oprah's sidekick. Maybe he's just trying to get her to slow down, but what if there's more going on? When a man starts saying his partner needs more time at home, it often signals something deeper beneath the surface.
You also wrote, Teens Can Make It Happen, 9 Steps to Success. How does the concept of identity differ for this younger demographic?
Well, that's a great question. Again, I go back to how we learn. I'm trying to get a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old young person to understand they have 80 years left. And if they could take those 80 years and learn how to apply everything to what they love and what they're passionate about, what's meaningful in their life, that they really have an opportunity to improve. I mean, you're going to really be successful if you're a better person today than you were yesterday, and you just keep growing and you're learning and you're a lifelong learner and you're a reader. You keep reading all the time and you're focusing on setting goals and you understand the process of success and how it works, and you're focusing on what you love. And you tie that to business, and you tie that to social media, you tie that to all those things that will empower you based on what's possible for you, and you have access to a global marketplace. And everything you learn from now on, you can begin to organize it through a cognitive ability to be able to download content that's relevant to your talents, to your skills, and to your passion. If I can get you to understand that at 10 or 11, man, that's a pretty good process for building and designing your own future.
Yeah, I mean, changing the trajectory of someone's life at that age, I mean, you can't put a price on that. I mean, it's like you said, it changes them forever and can benefit them greatly.
Yeah, and the process works, especially for, some athletes who are young. They start at 6, 5, and 4, and they learn the process of how it works.
Yeah.
And by the time they get 11 or 12, they're like killing them.
Yeah.
And that's when so it's the same process for me. It's trying to get young people to understand their empowerment at an early age.
So similar question to sports, these young people now, I mean, I couldn't imagine kind of growing up with social media the way it is now back when I was a kid or a teen. Kind of similar question that we did for the athletes. How do these young people deal with social media when they can't necessarily start a business or use it for work?
Well, I think they have to. It's tough. It's a very difficult thing when you're dealing with social media and you don't know what it does or the purpose of it or how it affects you, and the algorithms are set up and designed to hook you, and all of that. So I think you just have to, hopefully you have good parents who understand, how to monitor some of that. But again, it is a valuable tool because it has so much information. Again, I go back to not everybody's going to get this, but making sure you understand who you are so you can apply the information to your development and create something that you can control as opposed to it controlling you. And so that's an awareness process. That's raising people's consciousness about that, which we're trying to do in schools. And in students we do. I mean, we have a program in Mississippi that we're working on, and man, those young people there, they're in STEM programs, and they're smart. And boy, to be able to eliminate all the labels that they have to deal with, I mean, through this process of identity and understanding who you are, it's just really so rewarding to see them, the light bulb go off, and not be defined by their parents and not be defined by their circumstances, which can be very difficult for them sometimes.
Yeah, and that kind of answers the second question as well about, how do you educate parents and educators in order to help children, think more about identity versus.
Well, you have to have curriculum, and so you have to have the books and the content, the materials, and everything else. And then
Let's not forget Oprah and Stedman have been together for years without getting married. Is Stedman finally tired of their unconventional setup? Maybe he wants more commitment or even marriage. Either way, he's stirred up some drama. Oprah, known for her strong, independent brand, won't let anyone shame her for her success. Now, the big question is, how will she respond? Will she brush it off and settle things privately, or will the Queen of Talk take it all head on in public?
I have to have process and structure. I have to force myself to do that.
You also have to live in the moment. So everybody watching this wants Stedman to tell us about his Oprah.
Does she snore? You're the only one that knows the answer to that question.
That's exactly not what I was thinking, but that's a good.
Does she snore, Stedman?
Let me just tell you.
No, you know
come from
person that-
Kosciuszko, Mississippi.
That's true.
That's been abused as a child.
Right.
A black woman who's now a billionaire.
Right.
Self-made. Okay. In this country that is socially constructed, not to exactly celebrate your success. Okay. That's a milestone. And to be a woman on top of that.
Right.
And so, I mean, this is a person who's been #1 for 25 years. Every book that she put on the show has gone to bestseller. She has her own network. She's from Kosciuszko, Mississippi.
And it was not an easy
And
first
it's not an
20
easy
years.
thing. So, and you talk about someone who has talent, skills, and process, and smart. She's been able to put that together
What is
to
it you
get
think
beyond the labels based on a socially constructed process that tries to keep her down and has kept people down year after year after year after year.
And Owen isn't where it wants to be right now, but I'm not counting her out, and I know neither are you.
No, it's a process. You can't just come in and create an organization or build a company in 6 months.
That's right.
You got to put your voice in it. You got to work on shows. So she'll be fine.
Great to have you here.
As you put in here, progress begins one step at a time.
One step at a time.
So we'll take the first step this morning. Stedman
First step
Graham.
is understand who you
are.
Source the resources of the world through having a vision bigger than your circumstances, okay? To be able to plan it out, work every single day. You got to be a hard worker, okay? To have a strong value system, right? And to be able to focus on those barriers of success that hold you back, building a team, being able to, again, source content by organizing information. You become a reader and creating a lifestyle around that. So again, I go back to the power versus the powerless. So how are you going to be empowered so that you, outdistance the 99% of the people where are they going? They're not going anywhere. They're stuck. So, it's really about deprogramming yourself and realize, again, I go back to it's not how the world defines you, it's about how you define yourself and being able to work on yourself as a way to establish a privileged life.
So last social media question, I promise, but I thought this was, very applicable to the book of, you mentioned labels are distorting our view of the world and our place in it. And in today's digital age with the prominence of social media, kind of how can we work to move beyond these imposed labels and cultivate authentic self-representation?
I don't know how you do it unless you have an identity.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it unless you're focusing on what you're doing, which is to find out who you are, working on that every day, right? Because it takes a while, and figure out what you do well, and to do it over and over and over to where you become an expert in your field, so that you can outdistance everybody else who are doing what? What are they doing? They're not going anywhere for the most part because they're stuck in a mindset. And so, again, when you start to change the learning system around where everything becomes relevant to building value, then you're not stuck in that box. You're able to not be defined by the labels or how other people see you, but the only thing that's important, because I use this in my own life, not being defined by labels, and people try to put me in a box, and especially me, and in regards to my relationship. And so what I try to do is not worry about how other people define me, but how